Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Talk About Watches Live. My name is Tim, and this is going to be a fun lineup for you. What we've done is bring back for tonight one of our greatest hits, and also a very recent greatest hit. And that, of course, I'm referring to the Szanto. The one of all time, that is the Croton watch that is built specifically from solid, beautiful silver dollars. Not facsimile, but the real thing. So we're going to be delving into that as well. Before we get into tonight's lineup, let's remind everybody of a couple of things. First of all, if you're not yet on our mailing list and or following us on social media, please do. When you join our mailing list, I promise we won't spam you. We don't like spam either. We're only going to send roughly one email a day. It gives you, of course, the deal of the day, plus news and updates with talk about watches as well as the watch industry. We never sell and we never share our list, so believe me, you are going to be safe with us. Plus, when you're on that list, you'll have access to the closed group that's on Facebook, and it's that group that actually gets notices ahead of all the others, even the email list. And that can be important because a lot of our deal of the day or the WMDs, and sometimes we just randomly put stuff up that's in very limited quantity. For example, some of the recent pieces from Watchstar, there's literally one in the world of them. And that group has access to these and all quantities, frankly, first. So by being on the email list, you have access. All of this is free, so you should be signed up, and I hope that you will because we'd love to have you along. Now, another thing I want to mention is social media. Obviously, we're on Facebook, and many of you now, of course, watch us also on YouTube Live, but there's other ways. You can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on Twitter, and you can, of course, also follow us on Google+. So whatever social media platform or platforms you guys like, we're supporting it, so please join us there. Also, as we're looking into tonight, obviously we're bringing out the solid silver dollar watches and the Szanto for that matter. A lot of this is going to qualify for interest-free payments with a program that we call PayPal Credit. And basically, if you qualify, this is huge flexibility because you not only have nothing down, but there's no interest or payments for 6 months. So if you like the traditional, the 6 pay, divide it up by 6, and there you go. Otherwise, you can skip a month or double down on a month or whatever works for you. There's an incredible flexibility there, and it's on the last page of checkout. So when you see it, it'll ask you if you'd like to offer PayPal credit. Just click that, and once you qualify, you are good to go. And it's really going to take these pieces and make them even more accessible and even more affordable. So it's a great option for you guys. One final note as we get underway, please share this. If you like what we do, like our program, and please share this around to all available social media that you have access to, and we greatly appreciate your help in advance. So thank you for that. All right, all of this being stated, let's get underway and welcome the Croton Silver Dollar watch, and of course, as promised, the Szanto closeout. Check it out. So with all of that stated, let's get underway and get to the Croton Silver Dollar watch and, of course, the special from Szanto. Check it out. So in this segment, we're going to get into the Croton Silver Dollar watch. And what we're actually going to do is bring back a presentation that we did some months ago. And notice that I said some months ago because Croton only builds a few of these. Basically, there's a very finite amount produced every year by a U.S. Mint. Croton commits to the amount they're able to get. And then what they're doing beyond that is, of course, over time creating these watches. And keep in mind that once these are gone, they are gone for good. Now, next year, yeah, there's probably going to be a new one. But if you want this specific year, we need you to act quickly. So we are thrilled to announce that we were contacted by Croton. There's again a few of these available. And here's the thing. We know we've got the best deal out there. In fact, if you'll commit to 2 or more of these, because you're going to see 3 different finishes, the deal actually gets even better. So I'm glad you guys are along for the ride tonight. And let's check out the Croton Silver Dollar coin watch. So tonight we're going to take a look at coin collecting meeting watch collecting and vice versa. Just like there's fans of wristwatches, there are, of course, fans of coin collecting, and coin collecting predates the collecting of wristwatches by millennia. So the silver dollar is among the American coins that are most consistently collected, and we're going to take a look at one of those, specifically the American Eagle, that has been crafted to form a part of the wristwatch. In this instance, both the dial and the case back. Now, since this feature is a major part of the story of this wristwatch, it's important to emphasize that these are not facsimiles, they're not pressed out of a mold or anything like that. What you are seeing is a silver dollar that has become the dial of the watch, and the same is true for the back. This is achieved by cutting the coin in half via a laser, and the reverse side of the coin is presented as the watch dial, and the obverse, which of course is the famous Walking Liberty, is presented as the sculpted back of your wristwatch. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed, there isn't a lot of silver dollars flying around in general populace. In fact, the US government hasn't made them for the general population since I believe it was December of 2011. Basically what happens is that the mint will still make them, but they make a very specific allocation, and that is sold directly to collectors from the mint itself, and they build however many, and then they're sold out, and that's it. It's also important to note that we obtained the very last of the 2017s, so when these sell out, there will literally be no more ever made. There'll be a 2018, but no more 2017s. So let's take a look as to how these coins are made. The silver arrives at the mint as blanks, or planchets as they're called. A chemist will put the blank through a series of tests that will include weight, diameter, and hardness. They're even cut in half, and the microstructure is examined. It's also rolled flat via a high-pressure press and tested for alloy composition. Once authenticated, the silver is then moved to trays where the edges are oiled to prevent snagging when going through the press. From there, they're stacked into cassettes and fed into the press, where the creation of the coin now happens automatically. These 3/9 fine silver coins are produced to exacting specification. After final inspection, they are housed in specific official packaging and are sent to approved buyers, of which only about a dozen exist, due to a program set up by the United States Congress. So what Croton has done is taken the obverse, or the heads side of the coin, and they've made that the sculpted back of the watch. The reverse, or the tail side, becomes the dial. So what results from this is literally a 3/9 fine solid silver dial and a 3/9 fine solid silver back that is beautifully sculpted. So let's talk dimensions. The framework of this watch is of course in 316L surgical grade steel, and it measures 42 millimeter, but because there's almost no bezel at all, it will actually play substantially larger visually. What Croton ended up having to do to keep this watch very thin, which of course a traditional dress watch should be, is they hollowed out the already half coin so that it would allow for the anchor to occur for the movement while still allowing space for the hands to move around the dial beneath the mineral crystal. The finished work is presented on a classic leather strap. It fits up to about an 8¼ inch wrist, classic tang buckle. No real water resistance to speak of, but this is, after all, a dress watch. It's not designed to go swimming or whatever, so washing your hands, stuff like that, you'll be just fine. So what we have here is a very elegant and captivating dress watch, and this one is visually captivating from both front and back, and a lot of wristwatches, especially dress watches, are not. This one is. But also, this features two major components, the large dial and the entire back of the watch, made from precious metal, and specifically 3/9 fine precious metal. Now, by comparison, 14 karat or 18 karat gold don't approach 3/9 fine. And the obvious comparison would also be to sterling silver. But with sterling silver, you're looking at about 92.5% pure. This, on the other hand, is 3/9 fine, which is far more pure precious metal going on with this example. So in this offer, you have three color options. The first we'll call silver, and that is the coin exactly as it is. You also have the option to have the eagle layered in either black or in genuine gold. So let's talk price. First of all, we're going to match the best deal we could find out there. So if you'd like your choice, any single, it's $149, but we'll top it by including the shipping. But if you want two, and it can be of any color option combination, we'll do that for just $249. And if you want to pick three, and again, any color combination, only $299. Shipping included across the board. This is a huge deal on a wristwatch that features solid precious metal and is also highly collected. Remember, there are no 2017 silver dollars to be had, so when this build sells out, that's it. We know this is the best deal out there. If you have additional questions, please reach us via info@talkaboutwatches.com, and please enjoy your selection of the Silver Dollar wristwatch. So in this segment, we're going to look at Szanto, which is a fantastic brand. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to bring back the presentation that originally participated in the July 4th event. And the reason we're doing that is that this, frankly, absolutely blew up. And let me give you an idea. We've had, for example, buyers buying as many as 1/2 dozen of these in a single purchase. These are absolutely outstanding deals. And one of the things that I want to emphasize in this intro is that every one of these is a finite build. None of these are built anymore by Szanto, and that means when we see these sell out, we literally cannot get any more of these. And these are brand new. In fact, our guest tonight, Barry, and it's always a thrill to work with Barry Cohen. He is the national representative for Szanto. We partner with him directly to make this possible. So we know that when we tell you that this is it, that it's literally from the source. This is good to go. So check these out. This is way below what the market has historically been for Szanto, and if you haven't checked out this brand yet, you're going to love the design, and the quality is absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, let's welcome Barry Cohen and Szanto to the program. Check it out. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Let's jump right into it, because I got to say, going over the pricing, as obviously you and I have done here in the last while, anybody who's acting on this is getting between 60% to 75% off Szanto. And I would recommend don't get used to that. But with that said, this is the way to do a 4th of July special. This is going to blow up. So Barry, thanks for helping out, man.
Happy to help.
Let's get into our first one, the 1000 series.
Okay, the 1000 series was created as an homage to a 1930s military watch that a friend of mine had found at an auction, and he showed it to me, and I said, that's darn good looking. Why don't we make something like that? So we made something sort of similar. It's got a 6 o'clock seconds subdial. It's in a 40 millimeter size. These watch on a canvas strap with left back. These watches have a Japanese loom on the hands, so they're visible in the dark, and they typically carried a retail price of $175, and today, special price, $70.
And I'm telling you guys, to be technical about the penny, at $69.99, grab all the Szanto you can. Put this away for other holidays or in your collection or whatever. Now, as the graphics rotate, you're going to see that these will move through a 1002 and a 1003 and a 4 and a 5. And if all goes well with the graphics, there'll be some colors on there as well. But 1002, 3, and 4, and actually all of them really are going to have that matte black case. So look how the strap changes color on these. 3 of the 4 will have the black dial, and of course, Barry, as you know, in the 1005 series, it looks like you went to a military green, I guess, the olive.
Yeah, we called it Dusty Olive was the name of the color.
So the background you were saying, this is actually going back the better part of what? It sounds like about 80 years, so a little pre-World War II, I guess, or about World War II on this.
Correct. It was a 1933 watch that inspired us.
Now, one of the things, for those of you, and maybe Barry's, we're continuing to rotate through the shots here, that one of the things that you and I can get into is a little bit of Szanto history. You guys have really made quite the name and impact by doing the whole retro thing here and updating it.
Well, as I mentioned to you when we spoke before, Tim, I can't take credit for the idea. The idea was given to me by a local friend who's a celebrity chef on television and a watch nut. There's a huge void in the market on vintage designs. You should develop some vintage designs, and that's really how this brand came to be.
Well, this is a great example for somebody, and I mean specifically this 1000 series, because I'm going to go ahead now and move on to the next one. Oh, Barry, really quick, do you know off the top of your head the millimeter on this?
It's a 40 millimeter case
40.
size.
So again, a great whole retro. For those of you who don't know, retro tended to be around 3840, so this is a little large for a retro, but large is where you guys want to be. So 40 millimeter, and the really cool offset small seconds. So again, you're looking at 1002, 3, 4, or 5 is how we're doing that. All right, so moving to the next example. The next one up is going to be in the 1200 series, so I'll list these for you really quick. And it's pretty straight ahead. You're going to see 1202, 03, and 04 is what we're taking a look at. And it seems to me, Barry, as I look at these anyway, that for just the one that's really going to stand out, I'm not even saying it's necessarily a favorite, but I got to go for that really interesting green dial you guys put with the 04 series.
Yeah, it's another use of what we call the Dusty Olive color for that military look. Right. This is a vintage pilot design. that had on the dial. You'll see 1 through 12, but also you'll see the military numbers as well. And once again, we use Japanese loom on the hand, so they are visible in the dark.
And pilot design, Bear, if you can just give us like a real simple definition of that for somebody who's just starting to get into watches. What is it that we're looking for?
Well, that varies actually, Tim. We've looked at some watches that have very oversized crowns that were from the time period of World War I when they were flying the open cockpit planes. Interpret it in our own way, obviously at a much more affordable price.
And again, guys, I shouldn't say again, I don't think we've done it. Let's talk about what the retail on these are and the 4th of July special price.
Okay, so these go anywhere from these are all suggested retail of 250, and at the moment they are 84.99, which equates to about a 66% discount off retail.
So again, very dramatic discounts, obviously here, guys. And I believe across this collection, if memory serves, Barry, we are looking at a higher-end hardened mineral crystal, I think, on the collection.
That's correct.
Now, that's an advantage, by the way, for those of you who don't know. I'll give you at least two reasons. One is that it's going to be more durable than its more famous cousin, the sapphire, but it has a not identical but similar scratch resistance. In addition to that, when you are looking at retro, frankly, retro was actually created many decades ago without the advantage of either sapphire or mineral. They were using much more fragile material. But if you wanted to go to which material is the more retro of the two, then the hardened mineral is where you guys want to be. So that's, I think, a great sort of a homage, I guess, for lack of a better word. You can also meld it in the shapes a little bit easier, and you're going to see that with some of the retro sculpting that's in this particular piece. Barry, I believe I'm correct in saying that these are chronographs and they're not multifunction, yes?
That is correct. They are chronographs.
And
which, by the way, makes it an outstanding price at $84.99.
I'll give you these again very quickly in sequence, and keep in mind, existing quantity only. Please go via the link you see either to the top or off to the side. You're going to choose between 1202, 3, or 4. 4, for the record, is the one that has the that dusty olive color in the dial, and the other two are going to have this great flat charcoal black. So moving to the next example, we're going to move now into the 2000 series, and I guess one of the first things I can mention here is we're going to be carrying over the concept of the chronograph, and this time, Barry, it looks like we have some case variations involved too.
We do. 2001 is a gunmetal plating. On of course, all of our cases are 316L stainless steel, but this is a gunmetal plating on the 2001 in a black format with a distressed leather strap. 2002 is a cream dial with a brown distressed leather strap, and 2003 is a little bit interesting. That's kind of a mint green with a black leather strap.
So obviously, just to emphasize that, that's going to be a bit of a departure from the dusty olive we've been seeing in the earlier collection.
Correct.
So, by the way, I also want to get into, and this is another example where I think this is going to play wonderfully. As a company, Szanto has chosen to go with these beautiful straps, and I bring that up because I've collected exotic straps and non-exotic for that matter for a while, and you kind of get used to the break-in period if you're going with the lesser expensive stuff. But I got to say, I'm really impressed with the leather you guys chose as a brand name to bring out on your products.
Well, we wanted to express a distressed and worn look. That's the idea, so that pieces that are brand new feel vintage the moment you take them.
And that, of course, explains the finish that you chose for the leather and so on. I just love the fact that there isn't any real, how to put this, like break-in period to speak of. And those of you who, like myself, if you wear a lot of the strap watches, though ironically I'm not wearing one at the moment, that you'll know what I'm talking about, where you just have to, we're going to get through this time period until it kind of breaks in. These straps are butter soft. They just drop right around the wrist, and you are going to appreciate the quality immediately. Oh, and speaking of which, I don't think we actually got into a price point on this one, so this would be a good time to do that.
So the gunmetal plated piece carried a standard suggested retail of $350. The other two in the satin brushed stainless steel case carried a suggested retail of $325. All of these are presently being offered at $94.99, which represents between a 71 and 73% discount.
get on the email list. You can do that while you're over at talkaboutwatches.com, because that email list, which can also get you entry into the closed group on Facebook, is how you get the early access. And they're both, of course, free, and we don't spam you. So you guys should obviously sign up. I'm going to move to the final set of offerings that we're going to do for you guys. And a quick reminder here, this one is over 70, almost 75% off, and you're looking at 2001, 2002, and 2003 are the numbers assigned to each of these watches. So the final series that we're going to be getting into is the 2200 series. And I know that a lot of you guys love it, and I do too, by the way, the dark cases where they're finished in a jet black or in a dark charcoal black. And if so, I think you're really going to enjoy this particular layout. I guess, Barry, the first thing, but let's get into price right away here if we can, because this is a segment where some of these are chronographs, but some of these are not chronographs.
That's correct. So let me just pull up my notes here. On the non-chronographs, these are $275. Presently in your sale promotion, they're being offered at $75, excuse me, $74.99 retail, which represents a 73% discount. And the chronographs were suggested retails of $295, now at $94.99, which represents almost a 70% discount. Remember, this, like the 2000 series, you're talking chronographs well below $100.
Yeah, this is again all of the Szanto that's participating in the July 4th special. I don't care which one you pick; they are all steals. If you would like, and I think you should, if you haven't tried the brand Szanto, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. These are priced to move. Now, I will tell you, moving forward, and this is important, don't expect these dramatic discounts like this on Szanto, or frankly, most of the brands that we do. But when we have an opportunity to, as we are on a July 4th, where they've got some quantities, and as a brand, they're excited to partner with us. You guys are the beneficiaries. Check out the quality that Szanto is offering, because if you, and I think it's true of most of you have several watches, if not more so, in your collection in this price range, this is going to blow you away with what kind of quality you guys have in this brand and in this series. Let me go over the numbers very quickly here. Let's start with the non-chronographs. This is going to be real easy. The non-chronographs are 2201 and 2202. So 01 and 02 are non-chronographs. Then we're actually going to jump to a 2250 series, or more exactly a 2250 series. So 2251 is a chronograph, and 2252 also chronograph. Obviously, there's going to be the color variations there, and you can see that as we continue to bring the pictures up. Barry, are we talking more about the pilot influence or retro, or what's your take on these?
This was another, you're exactly right, Tim. This was another pilot influence that got us going in this direction. And two versions, as you mentioned, one a non-chrono, one a chrono. The one thing I would point out to you, though, just so your consumers are aware of it, some of the models have a gunmetal plating, and some of them have a black PVD plating. So if you want me to delineate that, the
Sure.
2201 is gunmetal, the 2202 is black. When you get to the chronograph, the 2251 is gunmetal, the 2252 is black.
And now, gunmetal, as a lot of you guys at home obviously know, has really been a major calling card, I think it's fair to say, in the last, at least the last 4 or 5 years or so. And the gunmetal, what I find interesting is there doesn't seem to be anything official about this is gunmetal, because I've seen everything from what you call a dark silver to an almost black. And this one in particular, meaning the Szanto gunmetal, I think is right in the center of that. And that's where I think gunmetal realistically should be. And if you haven't seen it in person, just think of it as, you would first glance, maybe you would think it was black, but it has this really cool heavy silver influence in it. And it's got a natural antique sort of a quality. Now, I'm not implying that these are literal antiques, of course. They're all made from surgical grade 316L steel. But the finishes on these are absolutely remarkable. So just look at the numbers, and if we can work it out, we'll put it in the graphic for you as well. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up for now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your support. Again, a quick reminder, tonight we took a look at that fantastic deal on the Croton Silver Dollar watch. And for anybody out there that is shopping for solid precious metal in a wristwatch, we know that's the best deal going, especially if you're doubling down and getting 2 or more of those. So congratulations if you're getting in on that. And of course, Szanto, our thanks to Barry Cohen, and it's his partnership that's allowing us to do those Szanto pieces at a fraction of what the market historically has had them going for. So congrats if you're getting in on that as well. You're really going to like those watches. My name is Tim. On behalf of myself and Mike and the entire team here at talkaboutwatches.com, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys back really soon for another edition of Talk About Watches Live. Be well, everybody.